everyone, Karen here with Yes Please Paper Crafts. Today I'm going to be sharing a scrapbook process video for a layout I'm doing for the design team of ScrapOurStash Blogspot, and I'll put a link to them in the description below in this video. But this is the first September challenge. They have two challenges every month, one on one on the first day of the month and one on the 15th day of the month. And this is the one that came out for September the 1st. It's the Saturday Cartoon Sketch Challenge. And what you do here is you get inspiration from not only this cartoon and the colors in the cartoon, but also the sketch. And then there's some additional rules in the challenge that are included down here. And down here it says you must include an educational symbol, such as a pen, a paperclip, apple, or books on your layout. So, yeah, I should have read that before I decided what I was going to do. Because my layout is going to be about my dogs. Okay, well, I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. Okay, so the other thing that I'm going to have a challenge with on this layout is my pictures are landscape and this sketch is portrait. So there's these two photos that are, 4x6s, but it's portrait, and these are obviously not going to work. So what I was thinking about doing was making these 3x4s, and I have to see if that works or not. I might have to make them 4x4s and kind of modify the sketch a little bit. But I have these pictures of my dogs. I have two Yorkies. This is Lilybell and then Bella. And this was the day I went to pick them up. They had just gotten their hair cut. And they had been at the boarding, Mary's Bed and Biscuit, for about 5 days. We had went to Sugar Land, Texas, and I had left them over there. So they were super excited to get in the car to go home. And we went through the drive-thru at a sandwich place that's close by on the way home. And they just love going through drive-thrus. They have a blast. They have so much fun watching all the people and barking at everybody. But I captured these pictures by taking a video. So I want to tell all you guys out there that have dogs or cats, one of the best ways to get photos of your dog or cat is to take a video and then take that video and get snapshots from it. And there's various ways to do that depending on what software you have available. But I used what software? Filmora, which is a photo editing software, a video editing software. And in Filmora, you just go to the place in the video you want to take a snapshot and you click a button. So it's really easy to use. I think you can also, there's other software out there that does that as well. But anyway, so I got these pictures from the video, and I just think that these pictures are so cute. It's really rare sometimes to be able to capture good pictures of your dogs or cats because they move around so much. When you go to take the picture, they're doing something really cute. You go grab your phone or your camera, and before you can snap the picture, they turn their back to you or they run out of the room. So it's a challenge. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to use these photos. I'm going to use this sketch and follow the rules. And so I decided I was going to look through my paper to see if I had anything that kind of was inspired by these colors. And I flipped through some of my paper and I found this paper from Amy Tangerine. And it's from the Yes Please collection, which that's awesome. Yes Please, because that's the name of my channel. I think that's cool. Anyway, so I'm going to use this piece of paper for my background. And then I knew that I had this collection from Echo Park. It's called Bark. And this is just adorable. I just love this collection. So it's got all kinds of dog-related papers and stickers and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and look through here and see what I can find that will go with this. Now I'm going to need a large strip of paper that looks like probably like maybe a 4x12. Yeah, it's probably a 4x12. And then I'm also going to need maybe like an 8x7. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell because there's no measurements on this particular sketch. But what I could probably do is just cut down this strip, and then once I have this one, I'll figure out the sizes for those two. But I'll need 3 different pieces of pattern paper and then something for this down here. So let's go ahead and look through this. I have the sticker sheet. Oh, and I was going to say, one of the things I want to do in the middle here, I'm not going to use some photos here. I'm going to actually try to use either a cut apart from this collection or maybe some stickers. And I'm just going to create 2 little cards as embellishments to put in the middle rather than putting more photos. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because my photos are really similar. They're not, you know, that, you know, there's different expressions on their faces, but it's kind of the same shot. And so I don't really want to put all of these pictures there. I'm only going to probably pick, I might pick 3 and then just use maybe a large mat on this side and then do 2 pictures over here. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I don't want to put a lot of these pictures because they are very similar, and I don't think I really need to do that. And I think it would be cute to have something else here in the middle. So that's my plan. I still got a plan. Can you believe it? Because usually when I scrapbook, I just go for it, and I don't usually have a plan. I just start doing stuff, and I usually get myself in trouble. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip through this paper, and I'm definitely going to use some of the stickers. Well, this orange is kind of too close to that orange, and the plaid's okay. I like this blue. Why did they do that? They put the border strips on the back of that. I do have 2 of these bark collections, so I might go ahead and sacrifice this border strips and use this blue because that blue is really pretty. And I love this one with the paw print. So I wonder if I could do like the orange background and then the paw prints kind of in the middle. Let me see my sketch here again. And then I could use the blue on top of that. Oh, that'd be pretty. And or the navy, that'd be pretty too. Let's see. Maybe I could use the navy and the blue. Could do this and then this. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what else we have in this collection, and then I'll make a decision. So we have the border strips on that side, and then we have a pretty stripe. I kind of still like the paw prints. I like that. That's cute. Okay. On the back of the paw prints, we have a brown paw prints. Yeah. I'm not too, brown and orange, that's not really something I'm drawn to, so I'm going to skip that one. We have more orange, a plaid. Yeah, these are repeating. I think this particular page kit has 12 pieces of cardstock, or 12 pieces of pattern paper, but only 6 patterns because it repeats. So we have this really pretty tone-on-tone red. Oh, that's cute. Little puppy dogs. And then this is the same, the stripe. Oh, and then here's the cut apart. So this is the other thing I wanted to look at, was to see what I could use for the middle. And all of these are really big, so I'm not really sure that that would work. And none of them are 4x6, so I couldn't really replace this photo with one of these cut aparts. The bone's going the wrong direction. And then this is also going in the wrong direction, so I might not be able to use any of these. I might could cut that one out and use it. Maybe what I'll do is just use some pattern paper and then stickers, kind of make my own like little card there. I might do that. So I might have to skip the cut apart for this layout. Okay, so I think I know what I'm going to do. Let me move some of this paper out of my way. So we have we're going to definitely use the stickers. Okay. All right, let me put that over there so I can keep an eye on it. All right, and what is this? Oh, that's the cover for that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I can start cutting this paper down and see where it goes from here. Now, at this point, I'm going to stop talking to you, and I might do a voiceover later, but I find that I can't scrap and talk at the same time. I start getting involved in what I'm doing, and I just go quiet. So I don't know how those ladies out there, they scrapbook and they talk to people and they have a conversation, and I just don't know how they do it. So maybe once I get more experience with doing process videos, that might be something I can do. But it's just starting out. This is my 3rd video. I'm not sure that I'll be able to handle doing that, because you're going to hear like long silences because I start thinking about stuff and I quit talking. So I'm going to be back, and I'm going to leave the camera on so I can keep recording this, and maybe I can speed it up and then do a voiceover on this part of the actual process. Okay, So I'll be right back, or I'll be back as long as it takes me to do this layout. Okay, so here goes the process part of this video. I'm going to be taking this orange pattern paper and I'm going to trim off the branding strip. And this is my first time doing a voiceover, and it's a little bit more challenging than I thought it was going to be, but I'm going to try my best. So this is the paw print pattern paper, and I'm cutting that down to 5 by 12. And then I'm going to be cutting this navy cardstock down, or it's not a navy cardstock, it's a navy pattern paper, and it's going to be cut down to 7 by 8. And I'm looking at the sketch there, trying to figure out maybe how big I should make that. So I did pretty good with this navy paper, but when I get to the light blue one, I made a mistake, and kind of gave me some trouble later on because I cut this wrong. But I made it work in the end. So I'm trying to figure out how to cut this, and I decided it needed to be smaller than that navy paper, so I cut it smaller and it didn't work. And so I ended up having to try to piece two pieces together, and yeah, it was kind of disappointing. But you know, in the end, I think I came up with a much better design because I had to change my design in order to make this work, to cover up that mistake where the two pieces of paper were going to join together. So in my finished layout, that light blue piece of paper ended up being about 8.5 inches wide by 6 inches tall. And now I'm going to take this border strip paper and I'm going to cut out this stripe piece. And that's going to be the base at the bottom of the layout where I'm going to put my title. And I was trying to figure out, like, how do I make that interesting and not just like one banner. And I was looking at this navy navy paper that had stripes on the back, and I thought, well, let me cut up some of these stripes, and I'm gonna make flags at the bottom underneath that banner. So I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to put that together, but I kind of had some idea of something I could try, and I've done this before on a layout, and so I thought it would be cute at the bottom. And one of the things I like to do with these flags is I will bend them, and I will put foam tape underneath, and you'll see that later in the process video, and make it look like it's waving and then kind of like, you know, flares out at the end. So it looks really cute, and I thought this particular style of layout with it's kind of playful, it seems like it would lend itself to doing that. So now I am taking this navy pattern paper and I'm going to cut out some 2 by 2 inch squares, and that is going to be where I'm going to put some embellishments, and it's going to be in the place of where there's 2 little photos were supposed to be on my layout. Okay, now I'm going to cut down these pictures, and I'm using a Creative Memories paper trimmer. It's specifically for photos, and I love using this to cut down my photos. Every once in a while I have trouble with it. It's pretty old. I think this is probably one of the first things I ever bought for scrapbooking, and it's got to be 20 years old. It still works though. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what pictures I should use, and I kind of contemplated changing my layout a little bit and putting 2 photos on the left side and then the 2 little squares on the right side. And I'm trying to cut down this second picture and make it the same size. I am so challenged with measuring things and using rulers and making things the same size that I kind of use a little cheat here. So what I did was I took my picture that I had that I knew was the size I wanted, I put it on top of the second picture, and then I just cut it out the same size. So there I know exactly that it's going to match up, because when you're putting pictures together on a layout, you know, and they're right next to each other, you really need those pictures to be the right size. Now I put that down, and it didn't look right because the paper in the background, that navy and that light blue paper, it just didn't look right with the pictures stacked on top of each other on the left. So I went back to the original plan, which was to put photos on either side and then the little squares in the middle. So now I decided that I needed some separation between that busy paw print background and my photos. So I need to try to trim off a little bit more on these photos so that I can map them with some white cardstock. And so I think I was really afraid I was going to cut something off, because these pictures, my dogs are so close to the edge of the picture on the end, But I think it turned out okay. I was able to get them a little bit smaller. Okay, so now I'm going to be taking my ATG and putting this photos on this cardstock, and I'm going to be pulling out my favorite tool in my craft room for using for matting pictures, and these are the We Are Memory Keepers layering guides. And if you have not used these or seen these used, these are the most fantastic things for people that are challenged when it comes to using a paper trimmer. Because when I use a paper trimmer and I try to get like a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch around a photo, I never get it right. But with these layering guides, it's so easy to be able to get an even border around your entire picture. Now, one of the things you see me doing is I keep pulling the picture up, and the ruler needs to have something to, when you slide the guide on top of the picture, it needs to catch on the edge of the picture. And so one of the tricks is to kind of pull your photo up so that you can get the ruler to grab onto the photo. The other thing that you see me doing is that I am taking the blade and I'm running it over 2 or 3 times, and I find that that's much better than trying to press really hard to get it cut through the cardstock in one go. Okay, that was a lot. Okay, so let's see, next thing. I'm looking at this sticker sheet to see if I can figure out what I want to put on those little 2x2 squares. And I found this sticker that says, "Me and my best friend." And I thought that was cute, and it kind of went with my 2 dogs there. And so I put that on one of the blue squares. And then I decided, I thought it would be really cute if I made the edges of this square roughed up, because this whole paper kit reminds me of like rough and tumble boys, or it's just really playful, and I thought having the rough edges on those little squares would be cute. Now, I did try to use that little dog, but it did not fit. I didn't like the way it was hanging off the square, and so I decided to use this fire hydrant instead. And so I'm going to stick that down. Now, I also pulled a little sticker off of the sticker sheet as well, and it says "cute dog," and I'm going to put that across the not the fireplace, the fire hydrant. Isn't it funny how words just jump out of your mouth sometimes? It just frustrates me sometimes that I know what I'm trying to say, and then other words just come out of my mouth without me even knowing. Okay, so now we're going to be putting some foam tape on the back of that fire hydrant to kind of pop it up a little bit and give it some more dimension. And then I'm going to try to mess around with this sticker, trying to figure out where I want to put it. And I think I ended up putting it right back where it was, which was right on top of that fire hydrant. Okay, so after I did that, I think, oh yeah, I'm putting a little bit of the foam tape behind the part of that word sticker that's sticking out. And now I'm going to rough up the edge of that square. I do a lot of this, and I actually cut it out of the video, most of it, because it would have been made the video really long. But it took me a really long time, because I did end up doing that on those little 2x2 squares, and I also did it on the navy pattern paper and also the light blue paper. I did it on both of those. So now I am looking at these stickers that I had pulled and trying to figure out what I was going to use for my title. And I really like those stickers on the right, but I decided that I was just going to go with this white sticker because it had some sayings on there, and I decided that my title was going to be Fun Moment. And I had such a hard time getting these stickers off the sheet. The fun wasn't too bad, but I would say it probably took me several minutes to get that moments off. Now, I cut that out of the video because, yeah, it was bad. And later on, I figured out that I actually broke it. It was broken on the end. But you couldn't see it. Once I put it down on the layout and I kind of pushed it together, you couldn't see that I had actually broken it, but yeah. Okay, so now we're going to be gluing down or taping down that blue paper, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and rough up all the edges. And I like this tool that I'm using. It's from Stampin' Up. I don't know if they still sell it, but it's got a couple of different tools there, and the one I'm using is the one that you use to rough up the edge of your paper. Okay, Now, I thought this was pretty cool because usually I have to use my ruler to, you know, figure out where I'm going to put things, but this paper is grid background, so it made it super easy. Okay, now I decided I didn't like this. Paper had this orange border around the side, and I thought, well, I'm just going to trim off 1/8 of an inch all the way around and get rid of that orange border that's on this paper. And so once I did that, I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock and mat this background. Now, what's funny about this is so I cut down that paper, and then when I took this orange pattern paper and tried to put it onto my white cardstock, it didn't, it was off. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, why is this not even all the way around? Because I was sure that I did it right and I cut it down right. But yeah, look how bad it was at the top. And so I thought, well, I must have trimmed it down wrong. So I got my paper trimmer back out and I started, you know, looking at it, and it was right. And what was really strange was that the cardstock ended up being bigger than 12 by 12. And I have no idea where that cardstock came from or why it was bigger than 12 by 12. But maybe it came out of a paper pad and I had some extra there, but I went ahead and trimmed it down, and yeah, kind of funny. I don't think I've ever had that happen before where I had a piece of like cardstock like that was bigger than 12 by 12, but I was happy that I didn't mess up and cut too much off of my background, because that was the only piece of that orange grid pattern paper that I had. So now I'm going to use my ATG and I'm going to tape this down to that white cardstock. And I also cut a lot out of this part of the video because I didn't really think that y'all wanted to see me struggle for several minutes trying to get that line down. It was pretty bad. It was actually pretty fun to watch myself scrapbook as I edited the video, and I did edit out tons of stuff. There were so many things where I was not in the picture anymore, or I had walked away, I guess, or you know, I was struggling with something and it was taking me a super long time, or there was times where I was just sitting there tapping my fingers trying to figure out what I was going to be doing. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to be taping this down, and what was fun about this was I didn't have to worry about getting out my ruler. I have like one of those T-square rulers that I usually use when I'm trying to line stuff up, because this grid paper had a grid, and so that was fun. I didn't have to worry too much about getting it lined up. Okay, so now I'm trying to figure out how am I going to make this blue paper work, and where am I going to put the seam so that I can cover it up later. And so I'm thinking about that, and then I put my pictures there, and I'm putting these little squares there to kind of see, you know, what am I going to do? How am I going to fix this problem? And this actually could have been a stuck layout video if I wouldn't have been doing this already for this this sketch challenge, because I got stuck. I mean, I got stuck so long at this part. I think I ended up stopping and going off for a whole day and then coming back to it later because I was so frustrated with, with the mistake I made in trying to fix it. I guess I could have went and got another piece of paper and cut it again, but I don't know. I kind of like the challenge of just trying to make it work and fixing my mistake. So here you see me trying to figure it out, and what I ended up doing eventually was I had a light bulb go off, and I thought, if I cut these two pieces of paper so that the middle is where the seam would be, I could cover it up with those little squares and I could add a third square. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to cut these two pieces of paper so that my seam is going to end up in the middle of the layout. And yeah, that worked out so much better. So I'm going to go ahead and tape that down. I was so relieved when I got to this point, and yeah, after I did this, everything started going much, much better. And the other thing I liked about it was I had to add a third little square, and I really liked the way that it came out. It kind of added some height to the layout, and it gave me a place to put my paper clip, because it was part of the rules that you had to use some kind of a school item like a pencil or a pen or a book or a paper clip. And the only thing that I could think to add to this layout was a paper clip, because I had these really cute dog paper clips that I got at Tuesday Mornings a few months ago. and I was able to add that to my layout. Okay, so I got this all done, and I think it looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I want to take those little blue squares and I'm going to mat them with this white cardstock. I kind of thought that that background was so busy. I like the way the white cardstock, when I matted my photos with it, it kind of like made my photos pop. And so I decided that I was going to do the same thing for those little 2x2 squares. And when I first made these little mats, I actually made them 1/4 of an inch bigger than the little squares. So I think I made them 2.5 inches. And then I realized later that that was too thick of a border, and so I go back and I will trim them down so I only have a 1/8 inch border around the entire thing. But yeah, you see how big that border is? It was way, way, way too big. So I'm going to trim those down. And I don't know, this video is pretty long. I edited out as much as I could. It was taking me a really long time to do all of this editing. And I'm hoping that I didn't leave too much in, but you know, I didn't also want to cut too much out and make it too choppy. So I'm hoping that it's going to look okay once I get the video created. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is cut out my 2x2 square from my third square, and I'm going to be roughing up the edges of that one as well. And so now you see I'm going to be covering up that seam at both the bottom and the top of the layout so that you won't see where the two pieces of light blue paper join together. Okay, now I'm trying to figure out how am I going to build the title at the bottom of the page. And I messed around with this a lot. This is not typical for me to just put a title in the middle of the page like that. I usually ground my title like above a photo or below a photo or beside a photo. I don't actually, you know, just in the middle of something, just put, you know, an extra thing. And so I was kind of challenged with that. But in the end, I really liked the way it turned out. This was probably something I would have never have done on my own, but because I'm using this sketch challenge and trying to follow this sketch, it challenged me to kind of grow and change the way that I scrapbook. And that's one of the fun things I think about doing challenges and trying different techniques, is that it really helps you to grow as a scrapbooker and to learn how to do things differently than you typically would do. And so I'm messing around with this some more, trying to figure out, do I want fun moment above, you know, or yeah, just kind of trying to figure that out. Now, I thought that this white mats, I guess I was looking at it and decided it was still a little bit too big, so I'm going to cut those down and make them a little bit smaller. I think I wanted it to match my photo a little bit more, because the photo didn't, I think I only used like a 1/16 inch white mat around my photo. And I thought that maybe that would be a little bit better to make that white mat for those items a little bit smaller. So I did cut those down again. I might have made those 1/16 of an inch like I did the photo. So I think I cut them down 3 times. I think I made them 1/4 inch, and then I went down to 1/8 inch, and then I think I went down to 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so now I decided that I was happy with this fire hydrant being on that square, and I'm going to glue it down with my foam tape. And I'm happy that I put the fire hydrant on the left-hand side of that square, because I'm going to be adding the paper clip on that, and it's going to go on the right top. And I will do that a little bit later. Okay, so now I'm going to go through some chipboard, and I'm trying to figure out like embellishments that I could add to this layout. And I picked that little yellow chipboard flower, but I ended up not using it. Now I'm looking at some enamel like sayings and stickers, and I think those are like, what do you call this, puffy stickers or enamel stickers? I'm not really sure what they're called. And I found this one sticker on there that I really liked. It said, "For the camera." And so I put that to the side, and now I'm looking at this chipboard. And there was some cute stuff on there that would have worked, but the colors just didn't quite go. I did find this one chipboard sticker that says, what does it say? Biggest smile, or I can't read it, but I thought that was really cute, and I really wanted to use that chipboard piece, but it ended up not making it on the layout. Just something about it. I just couldn't figure out a place to put it that looked right, so I ended up not using it. Okay, so I'm looking some more on this one, and I didn't find anything. Then I looked at this Cosmo Cricket. This is a really old one. I think I got this in an eBay lot, but I couldn't find anything on that one either because I think the colors are just it's too pastel-y. It didn't really go. I really like the Let's Go on the top of that chipboard, but it didn't really match the layout, so I couldn't pull that one either. And then they had some really cute stuff. This is Amy Tangerine, Good Vibes. And that high five chipboard, I'm definitely going to be using that on a layout in the future because my dog Bella just recently learned how to do a high five, and I have a little video clip of that. And I'm going to pull some pictures from that video clip and probably do another layout with it. So that's really cute. I'm going to have to remember that to pull that chipboard for that layout. Okay, so I decided to pull some other stickers and have this sticker or this embellishment pack. It's like a die pack that I kind of looked through, but I didn't find anything in there either. I don't think the colors matched too well, and most of the things in there were, they just didn't go with this layout. So a lot of the things in there were really large too. They were these really large square pieces in there. Okay, and then I found this sticker pack when I was at Hobby Lobby when I did my clearance haul. I think that was about a week ago. I went to Hobby Lobby and I got all kinds of stuff for 75% off. So these little stickers are so cute. And I ended up pulling out a bone. It's like a wood veneer sticker, and I added it to the bottom of that little square. I thought about using that little dachshund on the bottom, but it was just too long and it kind of stuck out over the square, and I just didn't like how it looked. So I decided not to use that. Then I tried a couple of these other ones, and I really liked that one right there, but the blue, it didn't match. It was kind of like a greeny blue, and it didn't go. And then the love, it just was competing with the saying above it, so I didn't use that one either, although that would have been really cute. Okay, so here I have, this is from Project Life, and it's a bunch of chipboard stickers, and I believe I got that from Hobby Lobby as well. Or maybe it was, no, I got that from Tuesday Mornings. That came from Tuesday Morning. And I was able to find a little piece of chipboard that says Let's Go. And it's orange and it matched perfectly for this layout. Okay, so I'm trying to use these Amy Tangerine bows, but they're like little leather bows, but I couldn't figure out how to add that to the layout where it looked right. And then I took this border strip and I was trying to figure out how could I get like something else to add to that square. And I cut out this little dog. I spent time fussy cutting this dog out, and it ended up not making it on my layout. But yeah, it was really cute, and I kept it. So I'm going to put it with my page kit. When I put my page kit away, I'll add it in there as a scrap, and maybe it'll make it onto another layout. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to working on my title. And I'm trying to figure out how am I going to put this on the page. And yeah, that was a little bit of a challenge. So I'm going to cut it into a banner. And yeah, I'm running out of things to say. I feel like I'm just like racing to try to keep up with this video and just keep talking. I think I'm going to have to practice these voiceovers because yeah, it's really hard. I have to admire all those people out there that do voiceovers because it's much harder than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so I'm making this into a banner, and I like to use my, I don't know if you noticed this, but I picked up that different pair of scissors. That's a pair of scissors from We Are Memory Keepers, and those are great for detail work, for fussy cutting, and for doing anything where you really want to get, you know, into like a corner like that. And because they have a really sharp point on them. They're my favorite scissors for doing fussy cutting. Okay, now I'm finally ready to stick my title down, and I realized it was broken. I had to kind of fix that in because it was, yeah, it was torn. But I made it work, so. You couldn't even see it. Once I had it all glued down, you couldn't even see the place where it was broken. But at first I was kind of like a little bit upset. Okay, so I tried to move that title up, but it didn't look right. So I went back to where the sketch told me to put it, and I put it right there in the middle of the bottom of the page. Okay, so now I'm going to work on these little flags. I have these blue strips that I cut out of that border paper, and I'm going to be cutting them down and then making just the right side into a flag or a banner. And I just kind of guessing here. I'm not being precise. I'm just trying to make them different sizes. And I have a light blue, a navy, and then this really pretty yellow color. And I thought that looked really pretty. Now, my phone died sometime soon, and so you're going to see a jump in the video where all of a sudden more stuff appears. And I didn't realize it, and so yeah, I missed some footage. And okay, so I tried that little flower there and it didn't work, but I wanted something on the ends to kind of cover up where all those banners or flags were kind of joined together. And I went and I found some chipboard, and I found this chipboard that said noted. And you're going to see here in a minute that it's going to show up because that's part of the video that I lost. Okay, so this is when I realized that my phone battery had died and I had to go charge my phone. And now I came back and I'm trying to still find something to go on that little square. I wasn't really happy with that little dog that I had fussy cut. But I also pulled this paper clip, which is it's shaped like a dog, and I got those from Tuesday Mornings. And if y'all don't ever look at the stationery section in the store, they sometimes have craft items over there, and this is where I found these paper clips. It wasn't in the craft aisle, it was actually by the stationery. And I'm so glad. And ever since I found those dog paper clips, every time I go to Tuesday Mornings and I look at the crafts aisle, I also go and look at the stationery section because I always find really cute stuff there. Okay, so here's where I decided I was going to change out the dog, and I decided to use this really cute dog. I thought that was so adorable. I just like that so much better than the little one that I kind of pushed to the side over there. Felt kind of bad about that one though, because I spent some time fussy cutting it, but it'll go on another layout, so I'm okay with that. Okay, so now I was looking at these little paw prints that were wood veneer, thinking I could add that. I'm looking for something to fill in right there next to that dog where they have kind of that space. And so I was looking through some different sticker packs and wood veneer and different things to try to figure out if I could fill that space in with something. You'll also notice that I had added some wood veneer stars. I finished the banner at the bottom of the page with that little wood veneer that says noted. And then here I'm trying to add that sticker on that says for the camera. And I ended up putting it actually under moment. And so it went under moment, and I have that Let's Go chipboard right above. And one of the things I love to do with my layouts, and sometimes it just happens naturally, is I like to create kind of almost like a story. And so as you put all of these little word embellishments on there, if you start looking at it, you can almost make a story with it, and sometimes you can just read through the layout. And so it'll say, let's go, moment for the camera, or over here it says fun noted, you know, or you could read it across and say fun moment, let's go. I mean, it's just really fun. If you really take a look at some of your layouts, you might notice that that's something that you do. And so I like to do that. It's kind of fun. And sometimes I don't do a lot of journaling, but I think by adding these different word embellishments on there, it really kind of tells a story for your layout. Now I'm looking through a bunch of other stickers and just trying to see if I can find something. And I did find this little sticker that says good dog. And I decided that'd be cute right next to that little puppy dog there. And I'm still trying to use that chipboard right there that says biggest smile. But I just couldn't find a place on the layout. So those three little pieces up there, those are my orphans. They didn't get on the layout. And but they'll go on another layout in the future. So. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is starting to glue things down. And so I'm going to first put on, I think I've already glued my pictures down. So now I'm just going to be gluing down these three little squares. And I think this is turning out really cute. I actually really like having the three little squares as opposed to just having two. And it gave me a place to put that little dog, which I think is one of the cutest things on the whole layout. Well, other than the pictures of my dogs. Okay, Now I'm going to be kind of playing around with this banner at the bottom. One of the things I love to do is I love to curl the paper and make it kind of look like the banner's waving in the breeze. And I'm also going to kind of move this T up to make room for the camera, and so I can kind of make it go straight across there, right under the word, and putting that "Let's Go" back on. Okay, so for this banner, I'm going to be adding some foam tape, and you'll see me here do that in just a second, I think. But I'm trying to figure out the bend, like where do I want it to bend, where do I want to put the foam tape. And so I'm going to be putting foam tape there right in the middle of that bend, and I'm going to actually layer 3 pieces of foam tape because I want it to kind of stick up higher. I'm going to cut another piece. I didn't think 2 was good enough. I wanted to put 3. Okay, so you can see the bend there, and it's really cool, especially when you see it in person. The middle kind of sticks out, and then the ends curl up, so it kind of looks like it's blowing in the breeze. So I really like the way that turned out. And that I've done that before in another layout, and so that's kind of where I pulled from that idea that I had created on another layout. Okay, now I'm gluing down these stars, and I'm checking out my layout to try to figure out what else I want to add. And of course, almost every layout I create, I have to add some enamel dots because they're one of the most fun things to add to a layout. It's kind of like adding jewels, you know, at the end. You kind of like just put a little sparkle. And I have to thank Janet over at RTS Scrapbooking for these enamel dots that I bought from Gina K Designs because I saw them on her channel and I had to go run and see what they had, and I spent quite a bit of money over there buying these enamel dots, but they're so pretty and they came in such gorgeous colors. And so here you see me, I'm adding enamel dots around my different areas where my clusters are. And I used, I think I used a navy, a yellow, and orange. Yeah, I think those are the 3 colors I used. I might have used a teal one too, I can't remember. But I'm going to be just scattering those around my layout. And one of the things that I'm still missing is I wanted to find something to put on that little square where the dog is and it says "Good Dog." There was just this kind of weird spot right there that I needed to fill. And so I'm still going to be looking for something. So here I'm going to go back and try to find something small. And I pulled this sticker off of one of those sticker packs that I had gotten from Hobby Lobby. And I didn't like it there, but I did like that it was gold and it added some more gold to the layout, so I decided to put it up there at the top next to that star. So this is the place, that sticker pack was actually where I got that little happy sticker. Okay, so now I'm still looking for something to put next to that "Good Dog," and I found this little paw print, and that just finished that little square off. It just looks so cute. Okay, so now that I added that happy at the top right next to that star, okay, then I needed to add something else because it just didn't look right. It wasn't, I like to have things that are grouped like 3s or, you know, on uneven numbers. Like if you do odd numbers of things, it looks more natural and it just looks better than having even numbers. So more often than not, if you try to put 3 of something or 5 of something or 1 of something, it looks much better than doing 2 or 4. And so you'll see me here, I have the star and then I have those 2 little word stickers. And I didn't actually use that word sticker. I tried that word sticker out, but I didn't like it. So I actually tried out quite a number of word stickers, and I just kept trying until I found one that I thought really went well with the layout. And sometimes you just have to keep trying stuff until you find something. That might have worked, but I like the one I ended up with better. So I'm using these Project Life stickers again. These are little chipboard stickers that have words on them. And I ended up finding this one that says "This is us." So at the top it says "Happy, this is us." Cute dog. Me and my best friend. Good dog. Fun moments. Let's go for the camera. Noted. So I hope you enjoyed this process video, and if you like this video, please give it a like, and if you would like to see more videos, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.